morning, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of our Ironfish Morning Show. I'm Karina Conta-Georges, and here to discuss his experience while working remotely is our Victorian Listing Manager, Louey Yen. Welcome, Louey.
Hey mate, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not bad at all.
Yeah, that's great.
So what are we talking about?
Well, as you're aware, this global pandemic has disrupted many facets of our lives. We're being subjected to self-quarantine and social distancing, which has ultimately led to most of us now working remotely. So speaking from your experience thus far, how has your approach to work changed since working remotely?
Yep, I've been at home since mid-March, I think. We were supposed to go to the Grand Prix and then it got cancelled. So from around then, I think it's the 15th of March. The impact it's had on me has been positive. So I'm a lot more efficient in how I run my day. The main reason being is we do all our meetings via Zoom now, so online, and I've saved a lot of time in travel. So I was driving to the CBD every day and then back home at night, 2 hours driving that minimum. I was travelling to Sydney once a fortnight, so there was a lot of travel in there. And when I was at work, I was going to appointments with developers and going to sites. So there was a lot of drive time in there. So at minimum, probably I'd say 15 hours a week travel, which I now don't do. And that 15 hours I've saved with the correct time management processes in place has made my life a lot more efficient and positive. So
yeah, no, that's great.
I can talk a little bit more about that. So in terms of my time management, I use a thing called the perfect week. So I allot all the times of my calendar. I slot all the times of my calendar for what I'm going to do for the whole week, and then I stick to those. Now I've got this extra 10, 15 hours, whatever it is. I've slotted in some time for cooking healthy food and exercise. Yeah,
that's great.
It's positive, really, really positive. The other thing's probably worth mentioning is I can't get distracted by co-workers, and I can't distract co-workers, yeah? So
that's always tough.
They're nowhere near me. I think I pop into your office a bit, yeah, when I get bored and say hi.
You do.
Yeah, so we don't do that anymore. So saving time there. And I think the biggest impact other than efficiency is I'm saving a fortune because I'm not spending money on coffee and eating out breakfast, lunch and dinner. And then I am promptly spending that money on online shopping, which is cool. So I've really been enjoying that.
Yeah,
lots of new things.
That's great. It's great to hear that you've had a positive experience, because I feel, you can look at it in two ways. You can look at it as a crisis and I guess, respond negatively, or you could look at it as a positive, an opportunity to be proactive and, think outside the box.
Got to play your hand with the cards you've been dealt with. So yeah, no, it's good. Right. I like it. Cool.
So would you say there's been any unforeseen challenges that you've faced along the way?
For me, no. But for a lot of people I work with or I speak to on a daily basis that have young kids that are being homeschooled currently, I think they have a challenge there on their hands. 100%. Yeah, I speak to one guy in particular, and every time I speak to him, I hear screaming in the background and things getting broken. And for me, living on my own, it's fine. But I think if you had heaps of kids or a big family in the house, it could be difficult. That would be a big challenge I see, getting your own space. Initially, the only challenge I really had was setting up properly. I had a little office space set up, but it wasn't that good. I use a standing desk. So I brought all that from my office in the CBD and set all that up home, and now I'm happy. So zero challenges here, all positive.
Yeah, that's great. So, part of your job is networking. How has that changed since social distancing regulations have been implemented? Truthfully,
I didn't do a lot of networking in the first place. We've got a fairly strong brand in the space that I work in. So we get a lot of our business through referrals from people we've worked with in the past. Still doing a bit through basically just Zoom, just Zoom meetings and just asking for referrals, etc. It hasn't changed a lot. I get on the phone and make lots of calls, but it's more prospecting than networking. So for me, it hasn't changed a lot.
Yeah. So I guess, look, the final question I had for you would be, you know, with the property market, I suppose there's a lot of uncertainties surrounding that and the future of our economy. What are your predictions for the property market?
Short term is definitely, it's a bit tough.
Yeah.
The borders are shut down, interstate, international. Without the migration, uni students, tenants, etc. There's a bit of a gap there. That space is hard at the moment.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. But in the long term or the future, I think it's going to be a very different story. COVID-19, if it's done anything, it's positive. It's shown us that Australia is a safe place to live. So a great place to live. Our reaction to the pandemic's been fantastic, in my opinion. And it showcases on the world stage as a safe place, basically, and people will want to live here in the future. I think if the government rolls out some tax exemptions around investor stamp duty and foreign investor stamp duty, I think it'll be good times in the future when all the restrictions are over. So positive outlook there, but definitely some short-term pain, definitely, which I think we're already seeing. We've actually, on that note, we've got a townhouse project which we're going to launch early May, which we're going to do all via Zoom, and it's a really good project. So, in my personal opinion, I think that'll sell well. Still in this current market, there's definitely buyers out there, and I think this one will move. So, yeah, I'm still positive on the current market, but I'm also well aware that it's tough. It's definitely tough now. Excellent.
All we can do is our best and roll with it, so to speak. So time will tell. We'll see what happens.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your insight and your experiences. Really, really appreciate it. For all you viewers out there, please tune in next time as we discuss our property managers and what they're doing to combat the impact COVID-19 is having on residential tenancy. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, stay home and stay safe. All right. Bye.